you're all CEOs of your own business line, of your car line. And also when you get together, you put your thoughts together, they put their thoughts together, and it makes this class a lot easier because you can use everything's really different than most of your classes because you can use all the materials of each other. You can cite each other on the citations. The participation can just be 2 sentences with a graphic. So because there's a lot of work in the sim, we make everything else a lot easier and smoother. So instead or Tuesday, there's really only 5 meetings through the whole 8 weeks, and that's usually it starts out maybe a long meeting for an hour because you have to do your first decision. By the time you're at the fifth decision, it's 15 minutes and you're done by Wednesday or Thursday. The deadline is Saturday at noon, but most everybody's done way before that by Friday or by Thursday or by Wednesday or something like that. So yeah, starting on the left-hand side here, we've got class resources. On the right side here, if I can move my picture over here and your picture, I've got upload resources here. So this is only week 1, so there's a lot. Oh, and I didn't design these resources, so you can ignore all the required stuff that's like they want you to read your head off. And the sim really takes the place of all that really soon by week 3 by decision 1. But I have some resources I've also uploaded, like the site I'll show you, the video site. And there's some videos you can watch too, which are in class resources, which is great. But the general idea is just get familiar with the sim, how it works. And the first decision is really easy because there's no customers and there's no competition. You're taking over kind of a distressed turnaround like Sam's Club, like Walmart took over Sam's Club. But so you just go to class resources here like you did to register. And now that I've got the teams all configured, if you click view resource, I won't because it'll take me to the faculty interface. But if you click that, then it immediately takes you to your blue team that you're validated for. And then what you'll do on your first meeting is everybody just kind of decide. And you don't have to actually meet on Zoom for this. You can text each other. I'll have everybody's numbers to everybody. You can go in CLC for the chat. Everybody either sets up, depending on the team, it's either usually a Zoom or a Discord server or even FaceTime, and then that's how they get together. And it can be for like 3 15-minute periods, or it can be one long one. But what you're really doing is when you see blue team here, it's the same thing you see all the time. Every time you jump in, you'll be your landing page. It'll show your position and your rank. And then each one of these are the 6 kind of indicators of how well everybody's doing. They've got, sales revenue, return on capital employed, and employee morale, share value, that kind of stuff. So, and then also up at the top here, as a validator, you'll see there's this validate link. And I'm not going to do it right now, but when you click on it, it basically shows kind of all of the stuff, and you say yes and send, and that's it. And there's a couple of things I'll show you, and in the videos it explains to you too, in terms of what are the decisions that had to be made so that it will validate. But when you go to your decisions here, it'll show you the business lines and corporate. Business lines are marketing and engineering, and corporate is the numbers that you put in for your budget and that kind of stuff for your company. And initially, you just do some standard stuff because everybody's starting the same on a balanced playing field. And this is showing markets, and this will show all the different competition, the market overview, and then these are the 4 car lines. There's image, eco-friendly, family, and low cost. And each one of those have their own profile. And you can learn all this really easily because there's a cheat sheet, a student cheat sheet, and it just explains all this to you. There's also videos, and there's 100 slide, would take hours to watch all the slides. I've cut that down to 20 slides, and I've got a link for that. So you can just go through all those 20 minutes, lay back and watch kind of what's the background for all these different interfaces and how does it work. It looks really complicated at first, but once you start on your first decision, then see what the other teams do, it really simplifies. And by the last decision, by decision 5, it's just, all right, I'm going to make a few little adjustments and then keep on going. So, but I guess one of the important things is that's the competitors, and there's market overview where it'll show you all those. There's no data in here because we haven't made a decision, On the Saturday, I'll probably show one of our other universes just to show kind of what it looks like. But that's just basically Halo and where you find the resources and how you get on the sim. But the important site kind of per day, this is a site that I've set up with all the resources in it. And it starts out by showing kind of what are the bullets in terms of how do you register, where do you go first and second, all 8 weeks in terms of what are the deliverables and all that. The two really cool things about the sim is that it's really 95% of your grade and it's really simplifies everything else. Like, you're supposed to do 3 participations, one every in 3 different days, 6 total participations, where everybody jumps in with each other and says, oh, hey, I liked your answer, whatever. It's kind of, I won't trash it, but it's just an opportunity to participate with the class. You don't have to do that here. You'll have many opportunities to share a participation about the sim. And so when you do the participation, I'll throw a lot of questions out there like, what was your favorite graphic for this week from the sim? Or what decision did you make? And so you can really, because you're participating in the sim and with the class, we don't require as much in the actual Halo classroom. And in fact, CLC is barely used because you just drop your results in there, but you're really on Harvard, which is the sim I just showed you. That's where you're at spending most of your time with your team. This kind of just shows how does it work and what's the user interface about. I've got some frequent questions that have been asked, and these are all the cheat sheets, videos, etc., that you'll find on Halo also, but I put them here so everything's in one place. There's some frequent questions people ask with the answers, a class-wide, universe-wide video, and then just some other downloads. But if you go here to more, you'll see I have to keep moving these pictures. Go to more. You'll see there are some. This is used by other universes. I've gotten rid of 3 or 4 other universes, but there's still an active universe. You're amber, and there's gold still going on. So there are actually galleries of their decisions. I think they're on decision 5 now, on their last decision. So you can see a lot of cool stuff there. Every time you make a decision, you get a custom feedback video from me. I take everything you've done, take all the graphics, and I put the graphics here because you can share everything with your team. Like if you have an assignment, we don't have like, okay, if this is under 1,500 words and you don't have 10 citations with APA, it's not acceptable. We don't do that. This is business communication, just like a business you're running. So just do a few slides with good graphics and tell a little story with it, like you would present to the C-suite or your venture capitalist or the board. So it's much more like a real business, like when you're going to work and working in your business. That's what it's a lot more like that. So, but the let's see. Oh, okay. This is another link that has all. If you click on this, I won't. It'll take you to all the videos that I have done or done with our previous classes and with Paul, who's our course lead. So there's some really good videos like before decision 1, before decision 2. And the coolest one is I did all 100 slides in like 20 minutes. So I ran everybody through all the slides. What's the takeaway from it? So it's really, and then these are the videos that are also on Halo, but they're all in one place again. And then if I'll hop over to the last piece here, ACES in the class, this is showing why all of the deliverables in the class are so much easier because you can reuse everything. There's no plagiarism here. It's not like, oh, we use this last topic. All the graphics are game. Your comments from your team members are game because we want it to be like a real business where you bring things up that happened in your sim and with the meetings and against your competition and that kind of stuff. So when I showed the different car lines, it'll show you what are the decisions, how do you make a decision. There are what we call sliders and boxes, and basically the sliders and boxes. Let's see if I can find one of these as an example. What's this here? Yeah, here's an example. There's some boxes here you can fill in, and then these are what you call sliders. So every car line will have images, deliveries, and you're investing here. And every time you slide a slider, it'll change your budget and change the CapEx, your capitalization rate. So you'll be able to cycle through the various steps of, what are we doing with this car line? Do we have enough cash left to do that? And then you'll compare it to your competitors. So you'll learn all this as you go further. This is the one I was talking to you about where if you press for time, you can click on the video for this and, just lay back for 20 minutes and watch all of those 100 slides. And they're downloadable. You'll see those also when you go to the Halo resources in topic 2. It'll show you all the other resources like the cheat sheet and that stuff that you can download or read. Now let's see. These are some day one musts, and I'll just finish up. I got 2 of these. You got to, like we just said, you got to decide on your team meeting format for the decisions. Do you want to do Discord, FaceTime? You just work together and decide when can we get together. Like 3 times, before the decision or 1 big time, however you want to do it. Keep an eye out for cheats and announcements. I do it everywhere. I'll text you, I'll put in announcements, posts, and as my validator, you'll get everything ahead of everybody else so you can share it with your team if you want. But it's just like, here's some good links you can go to, which obviate having to go to all those readings in the APA and stuff, because there's really only one textbook. It's HIT Ireland. It's been written by our course lead, but it's just taken from HIT Ireland. So, and that's just business strategy. And the questions then follow, but the answers can be from the sim. If it's like, okay, this week we're talking about a merger and acquisition. Which team would I buy? Would yellow team buy red team? That kind of stuff. Or you can say, here's 3 graphics from our actual run, and I send you the graphics. So after every run, when it's done on a Friday or a Saturday, by Sunday morning, there's a huge video done, and I have all of the graphics then put up here on this site. So just to give you an example, let's see, Goal Universe Decision 3, Gallery, Decision 4. Let's go to Decision 4 for their gallery. So I'm going to bring this up. Oh, wait, I got to go to the other one. Let's go to Decision 3, Gallery. There we go. So there's all these graphics basically that show what happened with the universe, lost order over inventories, all the financials, everything that's going on, EBIT for all the different teams and that kind of stuff. So in your reports and in your papers, you can use these graphics kind of and then explained. And it doesn't matter if you win or lose, you can still get an A in this class if you were last consistently. Like you see, there's a lot of crossover with some of the teams. I was number 1, now I'm number 2, that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of jacking like this that happens, but all you have to do is explain what happened. We spent too much cash in the first decision, and so we were strapped and we had to take out a loan and we increased our leverage, and that kind of hurt us in this particular market in low cost or one of those. So that's a real great way of doing all the other assignments, papers, everything else that's required, because it's really done for you based on your decisions, by the sim. It comes out and does that. So let's get back to and I just got one more thing, and then we'll see what other questions you have. Let's see, Universe Decision 3. Let's go back to, we already did that. All right, let's get back to here. Let me see if I can find the portfolio. I wanted to show you that. One thing that you'll learn really quickly is lost orders over inventory. And that's a really cool report we get. These are for your image, your 4 car lines, low cost image family. I know this is overwhelming right now, but this shows the 0 line is the best. It means if it goes below there, you have lost orders. If it goes up here, you're building inventory. So right here, yellow and purple are doing fantastic. They're right near 0. Red all of a sudden built up a huge amount of inventory. But you got to look at the trend. Green was getting a lot of lost orders, but they're starting the trend to turn it back up towards 0, which is good. And so you can kind of see the trends going on there. The other thing is that what this is actually doing is if in the US sales, this is built in Europe, this sim, but in the US sales means deliveries. So if you got 1,000 orders and you did 500 deliveries, all this is excess marketing, and these are all lost orders in between the 2 curves. So what's happened is you built up a lot of marketing, but you didn't build up your production facility and your plant with your CapEx and your decisions that you made to invest in your plant. And everything, one period of decision 1, which is in week 3, and decision 2 in week 4, that's a year apart in the sim. So a year has gone by every time you look at it that next week. So that's the basic of the graphics that you get to look at and then analyze, and that's the way that you use it in all your papers, your assignments, and all the rest of that. You'll pull up through these graphics and say, here's what we try to do, here's what actually happened, and then we saw that this other team did such and such. So that's basically the kind of foundation of what the sim is. Do you have any questions? Or I mean, you'll be able to watch the Saturday too, which is more detailed because we'll have, like 13 more questions going on. But
And at the moment, I don't have many questions that are coming to mind. I'm definitely more
good.
of a hands-on learner.
Sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, good. I just want to give you the basics that will be shown on Saturday because you'll be working. And in the meantime, I'll keep sending you links as our validator, and we'll get Blue Team's already all registered. They're doing great. They're ready to go. So your first decision in 2 weeks should not be a problem. And as we get towards the decision, there's a few things that will bug my three validators, which is if you make all the decisions, the team says we'll do this and that, but they change the engineering sliders, but they forget to look back at cash and it's negative cash, it won't validate. So sometimes I have to help you. I can't help one team versus another, but all of my validators can text and say, hey, the team's got a problem with this. Can you help us out? And then I'll just let everybody know in a post, here's what the answer to that is. So it's not, you know, preferring one person or another. And it gets very competitive by the last decision. That's really everybody's looking for. Okay, what happened? Who's number one, two? What do we do? What decisions do we make? So it's kind of fun. It gets to be really interesting. But yeah, so I will be continue to send that to you as we get more answers and more questions. But in the meantime, yeah, we're kind of ready to go. Everybody's registered. Blue team's in great shape, and so we just gotta. And just remember on your other smaller points for participation points and that kind of stuff. Well, as you get into the sim, mention it. I'm going to put a bunch of questions like ABCs and cats, where it's like, hey, one team did this, another team did that. Just enter it with a sentence. That's all you don't have to do some big research project, look up all of you're doing enough work on the sim. So you don't have to do all this other stuff in the class and say, okay, to participate, I have to pretend I looked up on a scholarly article and do 150 words that relates to this particular strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats. You can just mention, no, we did this in the sim, and this is how it came out, and this is how it relates to that principle that we're studying this week. So when we get to like week 5 and there's a merger and acquisition, it'll say, what are some of the finances of mergers and acquisitions? You can say, well, here's why if we had to buy one of the teams, we'd buy red team, or I'd buy Tesla, or you can pick anything you want as an example, and then show one of the graphics or two of the graphics from here, and that's good because it's really the cool thing about this, Lance, as you go forward, is this sim is used. It's on Harvard. You're going to Harvard when you click on it. They have 255 versions of it, and C-suites of real executives and real companies all over the world use this. They have a 2-week retreat where they go on and compete with hundreds of teams all over the world. It's that important. You can put it on your CV as you get to the last decision. I support your resume. I'll give recommendation letters because you're going to be not only validator but CEO of your own car line, and you'll have a CFO looking at the numbers. And it's really very much like running a real business. So it's been like being on ground school, and now you're in it's different than a software company or a services company because there is a capital investment side. And you probably know Google found out the same thing. They had no return on capital employed because they weren't capital intensive. They were search engine. But as they start to build up and get to Wall Street, they're finding they had to either buy a bunch of acquisitions to keep up with the capex and cash flow, or they had to start buying their own servers and investing in capital. And then you got into the capex because that's their factory. Their factory is their servers. So it's really interesting to watch the evolution because, I get a little criticism. Hey, well, who cares about the auto industry anymore? All the manufacturers in China. It's like, no, 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 no. The principles behind that are really important for every business, not just heavy investment plants with automobiles. So
All right.
anyway, well, thank you very much. And I will keep on texting you and we will move forward. And as soon as I do the Saturday Zoom, I'll send you a link for it.
Cool. I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, Lance, you have a great rest of your week.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye. All right, sir.
Bye.
Bye.